Boy got no liver. Boy got no liver.
Back to the daily grind with the only free MMA channel that fucking matters, full-time MMA. And this is really, really interesting. We all know Donald Cerrone is known for quick turnarounds and being a very active fighter, having a man on deck anywhere, anytime, any place. Wants to fight 4 times a year if possible. He'll fight again a month after he fights, 2 weeks after he fights. But this is one thing I forgot to mention right after the fight. If you remember, if you were watching the fight live, or if you have went back and watched the Donald Cerrone Cowboy fight, the Donald Cerrone Robbie Lawler fight, you heard in between, I believe it was like rounds 2 and 3, you heard, or it was during the fight, Robbie Lawler's corner started yelling to Robbie, "Boy ain't got no liver! Boy ain't got no liver!" And as soon as he yelled that, Donald Cerrone heard it as well and had to start shooting shots, because that was the commentator, I believe it was Joe Rogan, mentioned Donald Cerrone has had half of his intestine removed from a bad ATV accident in the past. Now, I did some research and found out it was in like 2015. It was a couple of years ago, but still, he has damage still from that. For Robbie's coaches to be yelling, "Boy ain't got no liver!" That means he still has lingering injuries from that 2015 ATV accident. So just hearing that lets you know Donald Cerrone's opponents are going to start game planning to hurt his liver, to find his weaknesses and pick at him. And not to mention, on top of "boy ain't got no liver," Donald Cerrone showed up to his last fight with the black eye. That had nothing to do with his abdomen or his intestines or his liver. Donald Cerrone's a cowboy. That's his nickname, Cowboy. So he likes riding horses and shooting guns and racing ATVs and anything active outside the octagon. And if you know anything about other sports that make a lot more money, like NFL, NBA, football, soccer, anything. Just anything you're familiar with. A lot of the owners forbid, or they ask their athletes, they put it in their contracts for them to not be able to go out and do super athletic events and put their bodies in danger. For instance, like LeBron James, he's not supposed to be out skydiving and playing pickup basketball games and street ball games, because if he gets injured in a street ball game, he loses millions of dollars in revenue for his owners, for the team, because he can't play in his professional games. From a casual street ball game, if he got injured and broke his leg, he wouldn't be able to play in his professional games and earn his living. So even now, the UFC fighters are independent contractors. They don't have a union. There's a lot of differences here. But in my head, it's kind of the same as far as if you're Dana White in the UFC, you don't want your fighters showing up to fights with black eyes and no livers and injuries like that. Now, if it's an injury sustained in training, there's nothing that can't be prevented. But if you want to go out and skydive or shoot guns that you're not ready for and let the backfire hit you in the eye, the motherfucking, the ricochet, or you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna go out here and show up to fights with black eyes and busted livers, man, that's not good for your fighting career. Because how many people watch that Donald Cerrone fight, his future opponents, and their coaches are going to start screaming, "Boy ain't got no liver!" And Donald Cerrone's going to be forced to shoot, because that's what happened here. He heard that from Robbie's corner, and he had to shoot because he knew the liver shot was coming. So people are going to start game planning to hurt Donald Cerrone to the body after that injury. Not to mention, he'll probably show up to his next fight with a black eye and a bruised sternum, because he likes to do shit. He's gonna go he's gonna go shooting shotguns off of horses, and he's gonna fucking shoot, and it's gonna come back, hit him in the eye. He's gonna fall back off the horse, fucking break his butt bone, his ass, his tailbone, and he's still gonna want to fight, because that's Donald Cerrone. He don't give a fuck if he's injured. He's got a man on deck and he's ready to fight. But even if you ain't got to be scared to get your ass whooped. So even if you're not scared to fight injured, it's not going to be good for you. You're going to go in there thinking, "Oh, I'm in my hometown. I'll fight anybody," and get knocked out twice by a Jorge Masvidal. Or you're going to go into a fight versus Robbie Lawler that everyone wants to see, and we're all going to hear, "Boy ain't got no liver," and it's going to throw you off and take you away from your game and make you shoot shots now because you're trying to protect that liver because you know what's coming. So with that being said, I think I've said enough on here. I think you understand what I'm saying. Donald Cerrone, he's a very active fighter, fan favorite. But, man, it's weird knowing that he injures himself outside. I mean, and he's a free fucking person. He's an independent contractor. He can do whatever he wants outside of his fights. But just as a fan, it would be awesome if we could watch a healthy Donald Cerrone fight. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't, and he almost won that Robbie Lawler fight. If his corner didn't scream, boy ain't got no liver, and that changed his game plan and make him start shooting bad shots and defend that, he could have easily beat Robbie Lawler. He could have won that fight. Some people had him winning that fight. But so with that being said, he almost won that fight with no liver. Imagine if he had a liver. Imagine if he didn't have a black eye versus Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is one of my favorite fighters. I'm not giving Donald Cerrone an excuse, but I'm just saying, why the hell did he show up with a black eye? And it might have been his fight before Jorge Masvidal, but I'm pretty sure it was the Masvidal fight. He showed up with a black eye, and I was like, what is going on, dude? I mean, he was shooting a movie, so it looked like makeup for a while, his injury, but then when the fight came, you couldn't hide the black eye anymore. It actually wasn't just makeup. Oh, it's so interesting. I don't know. I like on Cerrone. I just don't like the fact that he gets injured too much out of fights and people can yell, boy, ain't got no liver, and take advantage of it. So we're going to have to look forward to that in his future fights. It is what it is. Hit thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Damn, I like this new mic. Let the hitters know what the fuck you tell me in the comments. Dude.
Donald has had half of his intestine and stomach removed. He was in a terrible motocross accident where his guts were literally hanging out. And it's one reason why a lot of people speculate he's been vulnerable to the body.
And Lawler attacks the right side of that Cerrone body yet again. We will go into the blue corner now.
He got no liver.
Excuse me, into the red
Boy
corner of
got
Robbie
no
Lawler.
liver. Boy got no liver.
Keep working. Nice.
Why did the chemistry teacher break up with the biology teacher? Because they had no chemistry.